pay my respects to the elders past and present. I am Paula Cristofanini, I'm the Shire President. We're going to have a couple of updates, and then it will be open to questions, so if we could leave the questions to the end of the meeting. There will be microphones again as yesterday for those questions. Please look at the DFIS updates for new information. So I'm going to call on to Brad Barton, who is our incident control, to give his update. Brad.
Thanks, Hayden. Do you want to go to the overall map to start with for me? Yep. Good evening, everyone. And thank you, Paula. So running through the current status of our incident, the fire is currently uncontained and uncontrolled. By definition, we're still working pretty hard to maintain control, to control this fire. There are still some edges that aren't fully contained at this point in time. The perimeter of the fire is now 61 kilometres with around 5,200 hectares burned, which, happy to report, is a little less than previously estimated, but we've had some air intelligence that's given us a much more detailed report. We've had westerly winds on it most of the day, so it has again pushed towards the western boundary of the national park, and certainly the Caves Road in the south end, where we've been working hard with our fire teams today to edge and contain and hold that. Pleased to announce that we haven't had any issues or hopovers, as we call them, over that, and breakouts from our containment lines there today. So the weather conditions have been significantly cooler, as everyone would have noticed, and that's been much more favourable for us today as well. With regards, I know there's some questions around power. We've been working with Western Power. They're currently assessing some areas with looking to turn power back on to the Barantup settlement and other areas that were without power, but we're aware there are still 53 customers without power at this point in time, and working on that to do that. With our aircraft, so with the southern boundary, Haley, just roll up, we had the LATs, or the large air tankers, and two of our seats, which are the smaller water bombers, working a bit further. If you could, probably, sorry, it's just along, the boundary is Grove Road, not quite shown there. Grace Road, sorry. That's our southern boundary. We've done water retardant lines south of that. That'll be looked to be edged in tomorrow, once we get some southerly influence over that. So for numbers on the fire, so we've got 158 firefighters from a range of agencies: Fire and Rescue Services, Volunteer Fire and Rescue Service, Volunteer Fire and Emergency Services, our Bushfire Brigade Services, Parks and Wildlife Service, and the Forest Products Commission on site. And to support them, we have 101 incident management team personnel that are supporting the incident. And then they're arranged from Biodiversity Conservation, Main Roads, WA Police, St John's Ambulance, Shire of Augusta, Margaret River, as well as Marine Rescue and State Emergency Services and Department of Fire Emergency Services are all the agencies involved. So a very multi-agency incident that we're working on. So if we roll to the north now, Harley, so we've done, I've probably jumped the gun on some of this. So we are mopping up that sector to the north now. That is held for the last couple of days and is looking reasonably well positioned there. We've talked about the edging down the eastern side of the fire and the retardant and on the southern side of the fire, and we continue to strengthen containment lines. I know there's some genuine interest in Barantup Forest. It's a beautiful section of forest. We've managed to do some back burning through there today, which is somewhat less fire intense than the hard running head fires we had the day before. So, but there was still some significant fire runs in there. So hopefully that forest is not too severely impacted. We just urge people to continue to stay up to date by visiting Emergency WA and listening to local radio broadcasts through ABC or following DFIS on social media. With Department of Communities, the evacuation centres, we're moving into position that they're going to go on standby as of later this evening. They will still provide contact numbers on the door, both in Margaret River and Bustleton, and information about that will be on the Emergency WA website. Just for people's general information and interest perhaps, we had 11 aircraft operating on the fire ground today. That was 4 fixed-wing water bombers, 2 large air tankers, 3 air attack platforms, an air intelligence platform that provided us with live footage of how we were going out there, and 1 multi-mission helicopter. And aircraft have been active since 0700 with plans to go through to about 1930 tonight. Hayley, if you want to move to a couple of photos for me. So we talked last night, we've had some really significant wins for some of our facilities within the park. So this is Conto's Campground. That was where we had a number of people that finished up being caught inside, but they worked hard all the time. They were in there to protect that campground and the facilities within that campground. So a really important win for that Conto's area. I believe this one is Mammoth Cave. So that's the facility at Mammoth Cave that's still intact. And then the Lake Cave facility as well was protected during it. So a couple of significant wins due to hard work from our firefighters on the ground, and probably a little bit of luck as well involved in some of that, I suspect. Thank you. I will pass that appreciation on to our firefighters. With regards to access, so our team have been planning today. I know a lot of people have been displaced and unable to get back to the community. I can announce tonight that we have reviewed that and are currently in the process of shifting our vehicle control points back. I don't know if our emergency warnings will also change in relation to some of this. So what I can say, if it's not up, is it up yet, Hayley? Not up yet. So you go to the map with the vehicle warning. So we've bought the vehicle control point on Bustle Highway. So Bustle Highway will remain closed due to smoke influence overnight. So the closure will be from Forest Grove down to Bushby Road, north of Forest Grove Road, out to the edge of the national park, or just short of the edge of the national park. It's going to be open for people to re-access their properties tonight, right through to Redgate. There is a local traffic only rule set for people accessing the Redgate beach area. So we wanted to restrict that access to locals only at this point in time. And we've dragged the Caves Road closure VCP down a little bit lower so that people can get access to their properties. So certainly that northeastern corner of the fire, people are welcome to move back to their properties, no permits required, as from this evening. And to the south, south of Bushby's Road, and in the, I think it's Carry View, around near Hamlin Bay, and Carradale in that area, those properties are open that were under an emergency warning previously. That is now, and Watch and Act previously, that will be changed and they will be able to access their properties. So there is no, unfortunately for those people in between Forest Grove Road and Bushby Road and out to the National Park and the highway closure, we can't allow access tonight. So I guess for objectives and achievements today, so really we were looking again to continue protection of life and property and community and our responders. For the duration of the incident, I'm pretty comfortable and very confident that that's been achieved. We've been trying to provide timely and accurate alerts. We've tried to time this alert prior to this meeting to make sure people are well aware of where they can access. We've managed to stay within our containment lines that we outlined a number of days ago now. The environmental assets, we're certainly having some liaison there, and the car systems, and also cultural values. We've had Indigenous traditional owners in with us today and looking at their concerns going forward. And then we're very actively moving into the recovery phase now with impact assessment and completing that report, and then looking to assist local government with the recovery phase of the fire. That's me finished for tonight, so we'll hold questions till after. Thanks, Paula.
Thank you, Brad. Our next update is from Nigel Anderson from the Augusta Margaret River Shire. Thank you, Nigel.
Thank you, Paula. For friends and family who can't attend in person, please be aware the recording's available on the Shire's Facebook, YouTube and website after the meeting. Just some quick points. Animal welfare, if you spot any injured wildlife, please contact Wildcare Helpline on 9474 9055 and you'll be placed in contact with available fauna specialists. Just a note for our agricultural industries, rangers have contacted local agricultural operations in the fire-affected area to offer support. Any volunteer opportunities at the moment, we just ask that registered volunteers working with an agency, please contact that agency directly. Donation opportunities, we thank everyone for their concerns and offer of assistance, but no donations of goods are required at our evacuation centres that are on standby. Monetary donations are not currently being accepted. We understand this can be a stressful situation, and for personal support, please contact Crisis Care on 9223 1111, Lifeline 131144, or the Samaritans 135247. Also remind everyone of Mindful Margaret River, and their website as a local mental health resource is mindfulmargaretriver.org.au. Just for those that may be returning back to their place of residence, just some health advice. For instances of fire damaged asbestos, please contact the Shire for information and assistance. There may be ash, debris and residual fire retardant on roofs around the fire zone. So if you suspect fire retardant has entered your water supply, please do not drink or wash in it and contact the Shire. In terms of our community operations, we're glad to announce that the Margaret River HEART operations will continue on as business as usual. Our rec centre, all the basketball courts are closed for the evacuation centre and support crew. The gym, pool and group fitness are still open and operating as per usual. Kids Club before and after school care is continuing as business as usual, and the Lower Western Oval site is currently being used for an incident control centre. Our Davis Road Recycling and Waste Management Facility, due to the active bushfire threat, the Davis Road Recycling Waste Facility is closed until further notice. We are working towards providing temporary alternative facilities for emergency disposal only when it is safe to do so. For urgent information for emergency disposal only, the waste operations team can be contacted on 9780 5677. Rural transfer stations are accessible to residents who have access to these facilities via an access card. These facilities are strictly for residential waste and recycling only. Please refer to Emergency WA regarding permission to travel to these localities. Curbside collection services will operate as normal. Some areas affected by the bushfire warnings may experience delays in the collection of their curbside bins. The Shire and the Shire's contractor are working together to service these areas when it is safe to do so. Missed collections can be reported to Cleanaway directly on 089724 6455. Commercial collections with a normal collection day of Friday will be collected on a Saturday. Missed collections in areas not accessible due to road closures will be serviced when the roads are reopened and when safe to do so. In terms of our community events, as mentioned previously, the Yebble renaming event has been rescheduled for the 10th of December and a new date, that was when it was originally scheduled. A new date and time is yet to be confirmed for that renaming event. We are pleased to announce the Tutu Dance Company event that is scheduled for tomorrow. Will continue as planned. I think there's a lot of excited kids and mums and dads to watch that one. Margaret River Community Christmas Carols that's scheduled for 7 p.m. tonight. We're glad to announce that that's going ahead, but instead of being at the Gloucester Park Oval, it'll be at the Margaret River High School starting at 7 p.m. In terms of recovery and impact assessments, we'd just like to let people know you're able to return to homes once the alert levels have dropped, as Brad has mentioned. So please refer to the Emergency WA website for advice. Please be aware the Shire is working with other government agencies in preparing to undertake impact assessment works at the fire site. This will be undertaken once the site is deemed safe to do so. The Shire and all its key partners recognise the fire-affected site has high environmental, cultural and heritage values that will need to be thoroughly assessed as part of informing our future recovery plans for that area. And in terms of incident management, the Shire of Augusta Margaret River, we're just reminding you we're playing a support role in the response. This is a state-managed incident, so please continue to refer to official sources of information such as Emergency WA, call DFES on 13 DFES, follow DFES on Twitter, Facebook, and listen to ABC Radio, 6PR or news bulletins for critical fire information. Thank you.
Thank you, Nigel. We will take questions now. We've got WA Police, Department of Communities and Department of Education also here present, able to take questions. So any questions? So have we got a question over there?
Yeah, hi there. Thanks for the updates. I just wanted to know what's the status from a forecast perspective, you know, with winds coming from the south in a day or so.
Yep, so forecast conditions are still very favourable for us for the next couple of days, and the southerly winds will assist us in getting that southern boundary in and to lock everything away, with some potential southeasterly winds that will help push things away. So they're quite favourable for us, and yeah, hopefully that will allow us to lock everything in, and then we can downgrade this or downgrade the level of this fire.
Questions? The lady over there. Thank you.
I'm aware that obviously there's lots of rumours flying, but we were told just before we arrived that there's been some flare-ups down near Sebs Road. Are you aware of that, and are there people attending those?
Yeah, we've got people in attendance right down that eastern boundary of the national park. The flare-ups are some of the edging and work that we've been doing, but there have been some fire runs in further in behind that today. But I've had no reports of anything that has crossed Caves Road in that area at all.
Yes, go ahead, please.
Yeah, just referencing that southeasterly, are you confident you have the northern part locked down?
Brad.
Yeah, we're very confident that that has held for the last last couple of days, and that's why we're changing the advice and allowing people back in there this evening.
Yes, go ahead at the top then.
Any ideas when the Bustle Highway might open up again?
Yeah, we're working with Main Roads and with Waypole on that. There's no fire impact as such or direct fire impact on that. It is purely to do with smoke and visibility and safety of traffic on that road. We've reassessed today. We deemed it not safe to open today. We'll reassess tomorrow morning. Just been shown that the new. Can we put it up? Yep.
So
Sorry.
just to show you that the emergency warning has now changed, so we're going to show it to you on the screen. The map. Right? Good, good.
I'm getting there. I'm building suspense.
Have
There we go.
you got my colour code so I can talk to it, Hayley?
So we've got the grey is the clear.
Yeah, so looking at the map now, so we've just given the all clear in the grey. So on the very north of the warning area, all clear down the south below Hamlin Bay there. And we've changed the advice area around the outside, so that's allowing access to those areas.
Be vigilant, keep watching.
That's be very vigilant on all of this and keep watching Emergency WA if anything changes. And then we've got the Watch and Act area just to the east and south of the emergency warning area in the orange. And then there's the emergency warning area, which really is now almost just covering the fire shade. You're right. Perfect.
Thank you, Hayley. Thank you, Hayley, for that. Do we have any other questions? Oh, the gentleman here.
That's very nice.
I've just got a question with the Western fire break on the coast side. Now that things have calmed a little, is there any remote type teams working in some of the unburnt areas in there where we've got the granite outcrops and the Melaleuca thickets and things, some of the really sensitive vegetation?
No, we haven't been able to put anyone into those areas at this point in time, but we will take that into consideration.
The 2011 fires, there was a similar scenario with the Melaleuca thickets at Calgardup, and basically when the weather calmed down after the first couple of days, there was just a trickling fire, which with small remote teams would have been easy to put out. And obviously the Melaleucas take a lot longer to recover than the colonizer species. So looking at some of the photos I've seen, it's fairly patchwork burn some of those areas, and there might be chances to actually reduce some of that impact. I know a lot of the resources have been focused on the edges, but there's also the sort of national park side of it as well.
Yeah, look, we certainly do take into account all the environmental values, and they'll be weighed up in days as we move forward. But I guess the urgent stuff was to protect the community and stop the spread of the fire, taking into account environmental conditions. And now we've got maybe a bit of space to breathe to start thinking about how we might deal with what we've got left.
Thank you. Are there any other questions? Questions to police or questions to education department, communities, Department of Communities? Well, ladies and gentlemen, I think we've come to the end of our meeting. Thank you very much for attending. And as Brett said, keep watching the formal information. The situation is changing, and yes, thank you. You're welcome. Well done.